Dear learner, in this episode, we are going to learn about tourism motivation. What makes people to travel is an interesting factor. People travel for variety of reasons. Mr. McIntosh stated that basic travel motivations may broadly be grouped into 4 categories. They are physical motivation, cultural motivations, interpersonal motivations, status and prestige motivations. Physical motivation. These are related to physical relaxation and rest, sporting activities and medical treatment, all of which are connected to individuals' bodily health and well-being. Cultural motivations. These motivations are connected with the individual's desire to travel in order to learn about other cultural heritage like art, music, paintings, dance, etc. Interpersonal motivations. These are related to desire to visit friends, relatives and to take off from daily routine. Status and prestige motivations. As the name indicates, these are status and prestige motivations which are identified with the needs of personal esteem and personal development. Next is elements of motivations. Travel in response to what is lacking yet to deserve. This approach suggests that tourists are motivated by the desire to experience phenomena which are different from those available in their home environment. Second is destinations pull in response motivational push. This approach analyzes the motivation of the individual tourist in terms of the level of desire, that means the push and the pull of the destination. Third is motivation as fantasy. This approach suggests that people travel in order to enjoy certain things which may not be permitted culturally in their hometown. Fourth one is motivation for the purpose. This approach analyzes the main purpose of the trip as the motivator for travel. There may be many purposes like visiting family and friends, enjoying leisure, sports, music, dance, health, etc. Fifth one is motivational typologies. These approaches divide the tourist behavior into sunlust and wanderlust. Sixth one, motivation for experience. Many may take up travelling to get new experience. There are two groups of travellers. The first group has to meet their friends and relatives. They have to visit the place where their friends and relatives are living. There is no choice for the place, their decision to travel, where to go and when to go. They are also not influenced by price or distance. The second group, a holiday or leisure tourist, have a freedom of choice. They have to spend their leisure time for pleasure. They do not have any fixed place to visit. Depending on the availability of time and money, they choose the destination. A person may travel for many purposes, of which tourism is one. The following are some of the important purposes for which a person may travel. First one, travel for pleasure. Getting away from routine work is one of the important factors for tourism. All persons like to have fun, excitement and some good time wherever possible. Pleasure is primarily a state of mind. Most of the pleasure travel is to spend holidays in a different environment. A person working in a village find a good time in a city environment. Similarly, a person working in a city may enjoy a village atmosphere. Probably the strongest of all individual travel motivation is that satisfying a need for pleasure. Travel has a unique and unparalleled quality of being able to satisfy that need. Travel gives rise to satisfaction gained only such experiences. Again, pleasure is a subjective phenomenon. The meaning of this concept varies depending upon the taste, preferences, culture and age of the traveler. Second is travel for business or profession. Even during the ancient times, man started traveling to different countries for trade and commerce. There was good international business among many countries like India, Egypt, Rome, China and other ancient countries of the world. When people travel from one country to another for trade and commerce, they also visit historical places and tourist destinations. This practice is being continued even today. With globalization, the world has become small. Multinational companies have become a common feature in the modern business. People travel to different cities for business meetings, conventions, conferences, seminars, etc. within the countries and to other countries as well. Normally, they plan in advance to visit some tourist destinations which are nearby the place of their visit. Thus, along with their business dealings and transactions, they also become tourists. With enormous increase in trade and commerce, there is a vast increase in business tourism also. Business tourism has gained great importance in recent years. Attending meetings, conferences and conventions relating to business or profession have become very popular. A sizable measure of business travel is mixed with pleasure. It is very difficult to separate the business and pleasure. A business traveler, when he finds some leisure time after business meetings or conference, may plan to visit some destinations nearby. Sometimes a business traveler may plan his trip for business, making provision for some destination visit also. For example, a person visiting Singapore from India for business conference of a day or two may stay one extra day to visit few destinations in Singapore. A Pan American airline study reveals that the business cum pleasure trip varies widely according to destinations. Religious or pilgrimage tourism. Man has been visiting various religious places since the time immemorial. Even during the ancient times, people used to visit temples to get solace from their routine. In religion and spirituality, a pilgrimage is a long journey for search of peace and satisfaction. A person who makes a journey to such a place is called pilgrim, and a journey to a sacred destination is called pilgrimage. People have been visiting sacred destinations all over the world since ancient times. There are different sacred places for different faiths and beliefs. Although a pilgrimage is normally viewed in the context of a religion, the personality cultivated by communist leaders ironically gave birth to pilgrimage of their own. Prior to breaking down of USSR in 1991, a visit to Lenin's mausoleum in Red Square, Moscow had all the features of a pilgrimage for communists. This type of pilgrimage to a personally cult exists even today. Next is reasons for pilgrimage. There are a number of reasons for people to go for pilgrimage. It varies from person to person. Even one person may make trips to one holy place at different times for different reasons. However, there are some of the important reasons. Next is divine relationship. One of the most important reasons that people of all faith go on pilgrimage is to develop a closer relationship with God or nature. Holy locations tend to inspire a sense of contentment in those who visit them. Emotions and thoughts can clear and crystallize the thinking when you visit such places? Establishing a relationship with the Supreme is a central theme of visiting religious places and making a pilgrimage. Next is forgiveness. Seeking forgiveness is another reason for people to go on a pilgrimage. A common belief among traditional people is that pilgrimage is dedicated to God that can lead to forgiveness of all sins committed by man. Sincerity and the desire to transform negative experiences into positive ones is a part of the forgiveness of the pilgrimage. Next is healings. Many believe that holy destinations contain a healing energy. From the time of Jesus, people have traveled to sacred destinations in the hope of getting a spiritual and physical healing. Spending some time in a holy and peaceful atmosphere can have positive effect in our mind and body. Next is guidance. Many people seek guidance for a specific issue when they face some problems. To get some solution to their problem, they undertake pilgrimage. Many will get guidance in different forms in holy places when their mind is disturbed. Next is annual pilgrimage. Many people visit a sacred destination at least once in a year as family tradition. They go to the place of their belief and worship in different forms. Next is to achieve the life's goal. According to Hindu belief, the ultimate goal of a man is to get moksha, that means freedom from birth and death life cycle. To mediate and pray to God to achieve that goal, people may go to sacred destinations. Similarly, people belonging to Islam faith believe that one should make Hajj pilgrimage at least during once in lifetime. Next is personal transformation. Personal transformation is often a positive effect of pilgrimage. Visit to holy places give rest to person's routine work and refresh the mind, which can lead to self-discovery. The new vision for future is illuminated. Next, tourism for education and knowledge. This is an ancient concept. Many people travel to different places to get themselves educated. There were two international universities in India in ancient times. They are Nalanda and Takshashila. According to Hun Sang, the University of Nalanda provided free training for more than 10,000 students drawn from different countries of the world. The pleasure travel became very popular in Europe when holiday concept of tourism developed. Virtually all forms of tourism began for educational reasons. If we strictly apply the meaning of educational tourism, then all tourism is educational, because we will be getting new experiences and enrich our knowledge in every tourism activity. Mr. Ryan, in his book The Chase of a Dream and the End of Play, refers tourism as an educative process within the concept of sociological discussion. The historical references primarily consider tourism as an educative and adventure activity. Learning in a non-formal environment is more effective as well as attractive. Structured learning is perceived by the scholars as defining features of educational tourism. Participation in educational tourism enhances the communication and teaching skill among the teachers. It is proved by researchers that group learning has an edge over individual learning. Under the group learning system, effective and more meaningful interactions are facilitated. Even interaction with the local community can be better organized under the group concept over the individual. However, academic research into educational tourism has been very slow. A recent presentation of research papers by scholars in the international conference stressed the importance of establishing the correlation between tourism and education. Scholars agree that education facilitates mobility and in turn mobility results in tourism. People are travelling to a place to learn more about history and culture rather than just for pleasure. This educational tourism is not limited to students in schools and colleges only, but it covers professionals and executives of the company also. Many companies hold their brainstorming sessions and even regular meetings outside their place of work, mostly in some environmental friendly locations. Foreign students as tourists. The modern meaning of educational tourism is entirely different. In many developed countries, education has become a big business. The cost of education varies depending upon the state of development. In many developing countries, including India, the quality of education is competitive and the infrastructure is satisfactory, while the cost of education is very cheap. In many African and Middle East countries, the system of education has not much improved and the quality is not up to the international standard. If the parents send their children to Western Europe or USA, they have to spend 50 to 60,000 US dollars per year. On the other hand, if they send their children to these developing countries, they need to spend hardly 25 to 30% of this amount. As a result, every year thousands of students go to these countries to get their education. They also visit a number of destinations nearby. International educational tourism has been recognized as an important market segment in the tourism industry. The best way to conceptualize the educational tourism is to look at the broad range of activities. These include traditional educational institutions like schools and colleges, study tour trips, exchange program, company executives, off-campus meetings, etc. Next is problems of foreign students. There are number of problems relating to foreign students in any country. The culture, lifestyle, dress, food habits vary. Since during their teenage, the students are away from their parents and they enjoy too much liberty, it may have adverse impact on their career growth. There may also be ethnic problems within the campus. All these negative impacts have to be properly addressed to minimize their negative impact on the socio-cultural life of the host countries. Motivation for nature tourism. Urbanization has become an indispensable part of modern life. People will be fed up with congestion, pollution and other problems of urbanization like water, pure air, transportation and other basic necessities of life. People wants to have a change to relax from their routine. Nature is perhaps the most preferred and best destination for such a change. It gives us solace, peace of mind, rejuvenates both our body and mind. It is the most precious gift by God to humanity. Nature tourism may be defined as a visit to pristine natural destination. The study of indigenous culture and social customs has given a value addition to it. It creates several channels for education and employment of rural people. Man, as the most civilized, has developed a very close affinity with nature. Nature teaches a lot of things to a man and gives answer to many of his problems. Man has developed an emotional relationship with nature. Experiencing the diversities of life, man learns a lot from the biodiversities of nature and its surroundings. Nature teaches many valuable things to a man, which cannot be taught in schools and colleges. Thus, nature is the best teacher for all living creatures of the universe. Man is the only creature who spoils the nature. Nature should be preserved, conserved and protected. Those who vandalize the nature are not only enemies of nature, but enemies of mankind too. The beauty and charm of nature has always been fascinated many people, including poets and writers all over the world. Many get inspiration to write when they sit in the surroundings of nature. The explorers were quite amazed when they explored the Amazonia, the largest wilderness on this earth. It is the home for largest number of mammals, reptiles, birds, insects and other strange animals. Next is geotourism. This is a new concept in tourism that sustains or even enhances the geographical character of a place, such as its architecture, culture, environment, heritage and as well as being the local community. It is a new concept introduced in 2002 in a report by a Travel Industry Association of United States of America. Like ecotourism, geotourism promoted a various circle whereby tourism revenue provides incentive to protect the destination. Its principle is extended behind nature and ecology to incorporate all features that contribute to sense of place such as historic structure, living culture, landscapes, cuisines, art and craft and the flora and fauna of the destination. Geotourism incorporates sustainability principles and in addition do not harm ethics. It focuses on the place as a whole. The idea of enhancement allows for development based on the character of the destination. Rather than standardized international diversity shall be maintained at any cost. It enhances the geographical character of a place, its environs, culture, aesthetics, heritage and the well-being of its residents. Motivation for adventure. Man always is dreaming of doing something new. It could be in any area, but many areas require formal education and research. Adventure is the one area which does not require a formal education, but proper training is essential. Thrill, romance and excitement are experienced and enjoyed by adventure tourists. It explores the mental horizon and rejuvenates the routine life. Today, adventure tourism is vibrant, dynamic and fast changing sector with new variants routinely added into the possible experiences. Adventure offers opportunities to entrepreneurs in rural areas around the world. According to the global study conducted by UNWTO in 2013, nearly 70% of adventurers came from Europe, North America and South America. These three regions accounted for over $260 billion in adventure travel expenditure in 2013. Switzerland and New Zealand are the in adventure tourism activities. They are the microcosm in different types of landscapes. They have very good training facilities and strict laws regarding safety and security which is properly implemented. As a result, adventure tourism contributes nearly 51% of their GDP. Destinations around the world are focusing on adventure as a key niche segment because of its economic and sustainability benefits. All the stakeholders should understand that adventure tourism is inextricably linked with human and nature capital. Protection and promotion of these resources should be an integral part of adventure tourism. Any development of adventure tourism should protect and promote these resources. Next is motivation for sports. It is another area where people travel widely. Today, large number of people watch, participate and enjoy sports. Though the connections between sports and tourism have been long established, the relationship is now gaining global significance. Sports and tourism are very closely interlinked, and as globalization advances, new and exciting possibilities are opening to enrich the tourist experiences. Sports is acknowledged and potentially health enhancing activity for which tourism can be a catalyst. Healthcare, thrill, adventure and entertainments are the main motivating factors for sports tourism. Next is conclusion. Travel and tourism have become so closely associated with each other that in ordinary language, tourism cannot exist without travel. However, travel is one important part of tourism. Tourism is a wider concept and the meaning more than mere travel. In conclusion, it is evident that tourism motivations are influenced by many factors. Now, we can identify tourism motivations and the trend it presents in the growing of the tourism industry. Thank you.